Who needs Santa Claus in Oxford, Mississippi when you have Lane Kiffin running the show? Because not only is Kiffin the portal king, but he has landed the prize jewel of the entire offseason and an early Christmas gift for Rebel fans everywhere. Let's talk about the commitment of Walter Nolen, the number one player in the transfer portal. If you are new here, welcome on into the channel. My name is Cole Thompson. I'm a radio show host based in Houston, and I talk college football daily. So if this is the type of content you enjoy, plus anything going on with coaching searches, the transfer portal, national championship news, signing period, and a bunch of other nonsense, make sure you smash that subscribe button down below. Leave a comment telling me your thoughts on the future of Ole Miss, especially now that Walter Nolen is in the mix. Tell your friends, your family, your mortal enemies, best of bros, college football aficionados, and Ole Miss fans everywhere about this channel, as we're on the race to become the number one college football show on YouTube. Make sure you follow me on social media at Mr. Cole Thompson. That way, the conversation of college football never has to stop flowing either. Lane Kiffin already has won the transfer portal. This is a guy who has gone out and added improving commodities at expensive positions that are going to fortify Ole Miss's chances of going big next year. And I'm not talking about just making the college football playoff as a 10-2, 11 seed. I'm talking about they're gunning for a shot at not winning a national title, but an SEC title and playing in Atlanta for the first time. You look at the names that have been added in already to this roster, plus what's returning to Oxford, your hope is at an all-time high as a Rebels fan. But Christmas Eve, it's like getting a gift early. You landed Walter Nolen, a 6'4", 300-pound defensive lineman that is versatile enough to play in any gap, any scheme, and just bolster your ability to attack the run. This is the cherry on top of a beautiful transfer portal ice cream sundae. This is the extra whipped cream that you asked for on your pumpkin pie for your third slice, because you don't need it, but you want it and you know you've earned it. And this is like adding in that last Christmas present. You know, when you were a kid, your parents would say, did you get everything you wanted? And then right before dinner, they'd show up with the last present. That is Walter Nolen. And a lot of times you don't spend much often talking about just one player in the portal, because if you don't have to, there's not that many game wreckers or game changers. Walter Nolen is one of one. He is an anomaly. He is a human species that probably was built in a factory overnight, and when he's on his P's and Q's, could easily transform a game in an instant. I've seen it with my own two eyes, live and in person in College Station on countless occasions. And I can tell you this much. Lane Kiffin understands what it takes to win in the SEC. And you look at the way that he's gone about the transfer portal this time around compared to years past, it's an evolution. That's all this is. It's him taking that next step. When you started out, everything was about you going out and adding in just pieces to fill voids, whether that be at defensive back or linebacker or receiver. Now, we're looking at proven commodities that have already been successful in the SEC. Princely Umanmielen coming off the edge from Florida. Tyler Barron now fortifying your trenches as the other pass rusher and the number 2 pass rusher in the transfer portal. Chris Paul, linebacker, thumper, downhill, tackling machine from Arkansas. You also add in a guy like Juice Wells from South Carolina. Really hot start going into 2022. Was really starting off strong going into 2023, and then injuries derailed his season, but now he's going to be able to be the number 1 or at worst number 2 receiver for a Rebels team that ranked top 25 in scoring this past offseason. What it takes to win in the SEC is big men up front, whether that be on the offensive line or the defensive line. And most people would be okay with a 10-win season, primarily in a brand new era of college football where 10 wins probably is enough to punch your ticket at least into the playoff conversation. Doesn't guarantee that you're going to make it, but it at least puts you in at the precipice of being there. Ole Miss wants more. Ole Miss knows it can get more. Ole Miss has seen for the first time ever in program history 2 10-win seasons within 3 years of each other. Ole Miss for the first time has seen the ability to not only recruit at the exact same level as other tier 2, low tier 1 schools in the SEC, but they know how to add improving commodities via the transfer portal that will only strengthen their roster. And now you're building in with the trenches. You're adding in 2 elite pass rushers that have already shown their success in the conference where it just means more, and a defensive lineman who can absolutely wreck a game within 5 seconds. You let him get past an interior offensive lineman, best of luck to your quarterback. He's pushing up daisies as he's being pushed to the ground. You look at the way he's able to evaluate the run, over 18 tackles for losses the last 2 years, and his physicality at the point of attack. Few people are winning one-on-one matches with this kid. And that's coming to Oxford. along with what you brought in on the back end for your secondary, along with what you're bringing back offensively with guys like Trey Harris and Caden Priestcorn, and of course, Jackson Dart and Quinshon Junkins. He's running his way to a third 1,000-yard season and potentially first-round buzz going into the NFL draft for 2025. That's what you have. But to win in the SEC, to justifiably show the world we mean business and we are one of the best, you got to have great trench play. And most people would be okay giving up 4 yards per play. If you played in the ACC or the Big 12 or maybe even the Pac-12 that now becomes the Mountain West or whatever you want to call that conference out there, 4 yards per play on the ground is fine. It's not going to cut it in the SEC. Not when you have teams like Texas coming in with a top 5 run defense. Not when you have teams that feature great running backs like Georgia adding in Trevor Etienne, like whoever Alabama is going to start next year. Like now you see Missouri adding in Marcus Carroll and countless other names that are going to either join schools via the portal or be the next big name from the recruiting classes. The SEC is built and bred on winning with the physical point of attack up the middle. And if you don't have that, you're left behind. Look at Ole Miss this past year. They beat up on everybody. They weren't afraid to swing big, and they held their own against LSU, Texas A&M, Mississippi State. You could throw in countless other teams out there. But the two teams that they lost to, Alabama and Georgia, what are they known for? Trench play, trench play, trench play. Well, now you fortified your trench play, and now you're digging a hole all the way to Atlanta to where you're going to have a front row seat to potentially hoist up a conference championship. And once you're there, first round bye is plausible. At this point, I don't know where we're talking about Ole Miss because everything has changed in a span of 3 weeks. Top 20 recruiting class, countless names returning for 2024, not to mention difference makers in the front 7, plus depth pieces in the secondary. You're looking at a team that shouldn't be dreaming of 10-2. 10-2 should be the expectation moving out. It should be 11-1. It should be 12-0. It should be conference championship or bust because Ole Miss has the talent. And Lane Kiffin, he's the right fit. You don't need Santa Claus when you have a guy who is the transfer portal king, bringing in presence left and right and presence that are going to be justifiably helping your chances of winning a national championship. Something that it would be a blessing in disguise for the Magnolia State. Don't look now. Walter Nolen is going to be a huge difference maker coming up the middle. But so are the two on the outside. So is Chris Paul on the edge. And more importantly, so is your offense that's always going to be hyper attentive underneath Lane Kiffin. Kiffin swung big. Kiffin hit home. And more importantly, Kiffin has a shot of now making history down in Ole Miss. Don't look now. The Rebels aren't trending up. They've already arrived. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Don't hit the X button yet. Make sure you hit subscribe to keep up with all of our daily content found on Just Saying It and anything else that we post on this channel. Bye.